That's the theme. We go out to the other coast of the United States, just Hollywood, California, and check in with Michael Snyder, find out what's happening with movies. Hello, Michael.
Hey, Alex, and greetings, listeners. Hope everybody's having a lovely January, if that's possible, in the snow belt. I hope so. But here in California, we're snowed in by crappy films that have been dredged up to be released in January's movie graveyard, if you will.
Well, then why even review them?
Well, because, I want people to be aware of.
Otherwise, you'd have nothing to do. If they're nothing but bad movies, why review them?
Because there's not nothing but bad movies. There's at least one very good movie that I can review today. So we should get to it, shall we?
Shall we?
Why make another sequel to the not horrible but not great Will Smith, Martin Lawrence buddy cop action comedy Bad Boys more than 2 decades after the first? There's a question for you. Well, I got some answers. Because they both need new wings on their respective mansions, because the charismatic Smith has made a string of less than stellar big budget star vehicles, the most recent being Gemini Man, because the tedious Martin Lawrence has been in has-been mode for years now. In any case, after the pretty lame Bad Boys 2 in 2003, we have this slightly better, we're getting too old for this edition of the series about 2 Miami narcotics detectives. The gist of this one is that someone wants to eliminate Mike Lowry, Smith's bachelor daredevil cop character, forcing his partner, the married, bloated, and less adept Marcus Burnett, who is played by Lawrence, to reconsider retirement and team for one last time, and dear God, I hope so, in order to stop the assassination from happening. Here's a spoiler. Don't mess with drug cartels, especially any run by a vindictive Queen of the South type. Along the way, you get plenty of obvious comedic interplay from Smith and Lawrence amid the car chases and merciless violence. Plus, Joe Pantoliano is back as the Bad Boys captain on the Miami PD. Joey Pants is always welcome, even in questionable product like this. Conveniently released in the January dead zone. There's very little competition. They figure they're going to make a little money. One person who's only back as a co-producer with Jerry Bruckheimer is Bad Boys 1 and 2 director Michael Bay, here replaced by 2 people, Adil El Arbi and Bilal Fallah. Never heard of these guys, and it makes no difference. This is exactly what you'd expect. Bad Boys for life. It includes a few reprises of the damn song. No more, no less. I give a double meh. Minus a few points for making the Lethal Weapon series look way better than it was. Okay, moving on. We have Doolittle, and they should have done less. Dr. Doolittle was the Victorian-era physician of children's fiction fame who could, as the song from the old Dr. Doolittle musical goes, talk to the animals, and actually prefers treating them to attending to humans. Taking the character and doing a sort of sequel-ish movie with state-of-the-art CGI animals and Robert Downey Jr. as the titular doctor must have seemed like a good idea. Handing the filmmaking reins to writer-director Stephen Gahan, who did the pretty great Syriana, and the woefully underrated Gold must have seemed like a good idea. And casting Michael Sheen, Antonio Banderas, Jim Broadbent, and Jesse Buckley as the grown-up live-action actors in the movie, with Emma Thompson voicing Doolittle's parrot, they must have seemed like good ideas, but the result is as clumsy and ungainly as a drunk giraffe and way less amusing than said giraffe. The basics are these. Doolittle lost his wife and companion in exploration when she was on a vacation voyage to the mysterious island. And he's now miserable, a hermit who lives on a shambling estate with a zoo's worth of beasts, both domestic and exotic. And when a young aristocratic girl and a boy who'd like to be Doolittle's apprentice enter his life, he rebels until the girl says that Queen Victoria has fallen ill and has asked for the doctor to attend her. He needs to find a cure of some sort, which results in a journey to the same distant island to acquire fruit from a magical fruit tree that could save the queen. This is the same place his late wife went, so, okay, fine. Anyway, fruit saved the queen, only this time The tree is guarded by this is unbelievable, a gratuitous dragon. Of course, Doolittle's old rival's also there to undermine the quest. It's totally addled. The attempts at comedy are juvenile and uniformly unfunny, bottoming out with one massive string of scatological jokes. Yeah, bottoming out. Downey's mumbling stab at a Welsh or Scottish accent is often unintelligible. Like the dialogue was too terrible to say clearly, and the supposedly humorous idea of casting well-known actors, including Octavia Spencer, John Cena, Kumail Nanjiani, Tom Holland, Craig Robinson, Ralph Fiennes, Selena Gomez as other animal voices. Most of them are speaking in modern American accents and slang, and it's downright insulting. It's Victorian England, and Octavia Spencer and Craig Robinson sound like inner city Chicago or New York, and while that's going on, Cena is bro this and bro that. It's awful. And I have a feeling that Hugh Lofting, the guy who wrote the Doolittle books, would be appalled. Okay, here's a good movie. I love this film. If you're an animation fan, you should seek out Weathering with You. It's writer-director-animator Makoto Shinkai's follow-up to the massively successful Japanese animated feature Your Name, and has some similar themes, especially as regards a misfit boy and a girl in contemporary Japan who kind of connect with one another amid some supernatural doings. In this case, the boy is a runaway from an island community who escapes his less-than-ideal life by heading to Tokyo, but there he finds himself alone on the mean streets until he's taken in by a quirky but kind editor of a magazine about the occult and sent on an assignment with the mag's one reporter, who also doubles as the editor's office manager. That's when the boy meets a slightly older, equally unmoored girl who can apparently stop the rain by willpower. And that starts to come in handy, even to the point of being marketable. Tokyo's in the grip of endless weeks of rainstorms. People don't want rain. She's called in. She's what's known in Japanese mythology as a sunshine girl. I guess not to be confused with Neil Simon's Sunshine Boys, who are elderly guys of the showbiz persuasion. Anyway, this is beautifully animated, charming, witty, and especially poignant in a depiction of homelessness and other urban blights. I thought Weathering with You was sweet and sad and lovely and hopeful, while never giving its characters easy solutions or simplistic happily ever afters. Not quite as moving as Your Name, but it's dazzling in its own right. Mm-hmm. And what have you been watching, sir?
Well, we've been stuck watching 15 episodes of a series that went out in 2002. We're watching it on Hulu, called The History of Cinema, Film Odyssey. And it is the most scholarly work on the history of film we've ever seen. If you have Hulu, you should go watch it. It's sitting there. It's been sitting there since, I guess, 2002. I don't know, but it's.
Really, what's the source? Who made this thing?
I'm trying to remember. It's like an Irish guy, and he always talks where the last word in any sentence goes up.
Yeah, like your films, do you?
yeah, exactly. And it's a very scholarly work, and doesn't deal just with American cinema, but with cinema from all over the world and who was doing what, when, and political things. And very good, very good. Well, that's about it then, Michael. Thank you so very much. Let me remind you that Michael can be heard right here on GABNet 24/7. And also, you can go over to the GABNet.net page, and there are his reviews. I'm Alex Bennett. There's more GABNet coming right up.